2, 1, and I am live. Good morning. This is, what day is today? Today is February 15th. It's early. I promised I would do a TikTok live every day this week because next week we're going traveling and I won't be able to do as many. But while I am here to help you with the stuff you're struggling with, specifically clutter and stuff. And I just realized I got to make this nice and bigger because I got to wear my glasses all the time. So, hey, I am Beth. I am the decluttering life coach from my coaching program called Destination Decluttered. Now, I call it Destination Decluttered because I'm an avid traveler and road tripper, and I know what a difference it is to get you on the road and stay that way when you're excited about where you're headed, when you're excited about your destination. Because I have given up before on myself when I have not been so keen on it. So I am showing up to just be here for you early in the morning, maybe starting your day off on a good note, a little positive spin, encouragement. I know how much of a difference that has made to me in the past and makes to me every day is to start the morning off feeling like you can do stuff, change things, etc. So welcome everybody. I'm going to take a sip of my tea before it gets cold. Thank you. And so if you, as it says in my little thingy, it says, it cluttered and want to get unstuck, I can help. Follow my page too. Yeah. So if you're struggling with stuff, we all have stuff in our homes. I'm a decluttering coach and I'm looking around at my own house at the stuff I have. Now I grew up in a cluttered household. I grew up with collectors and thrifters and a little bit of ADHD thrown in the mix. So I know what it's like to be surrounded by stuff, and sometimes the stuff you have lights you up, and sometimes the stuff you have kind of drags you down. Like you feel ugh when you go into your house, as opposed to, oh, hey, look at how nice my house looks, and I can find everything easily, and I can pay my bills easily because I'm not misplacing them. And there aren't piles of things piled on every surface. I love seeing a clean table as I look across here. I have a few things on it. But I know what it's like to be surrounded by stuff and just make it feel kind of stressful and chaotic. You can't find anything. You're embarrassed to invite people over. Maybe you, or like if you have kids, just offering. Because I remember a story when I was a little kid about, somebody coming over and being judgy about how our house looked. And that stuck with me. If it didn't, I wouldn't remember it. So I am here for you. I'm here for you this morning, doing this TikTok live. And I'm here for you too in a couple of different ways. I know what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I love helping people create order out of chaos because that's what I do inherently. And I love that kind of calm feeling. I love the feeling of like the before and after pictures that I take with my clients. So if you are here on the Destination Decluttered morning TikTok live that I'm doing right now, awesome. If you're watching it later because I did it and then I uploaded it to my YouTube channel, welcome. This is awesome. The other thing too is I want to quickly offer is if you are here live, kind of in the studio audience, if you have questions of stuff and clutter that you're struggling with, please pop them in the comments and I will answer them for you. I also have an email mailing list. If you want to be notified when I actually have a monthly Zoom with just the people on my email mailing list, get on my email mailing list. I also do, actually, I have it set up that it's like a automatic thing that attached to your welcome email when you sign up for the mailing list is a habit tracker that I use myself called Pavers and Potholes. As I said, I'm a fan of traveling. I'm a fan of road tripping, so I make it kind of road trip inspired because it's fun. I don't want to show up for anything that isn't like fun or just makes me want to do it. So you'll get that for free when you get my go on my mailing list. I know that sounds a bit infomercially, but seriously, you're going to get this thing free. What else can I say? And as I said, if you're on my email mailing list, you'll also be invited to a monthly Zoom call that we do, and it's kind of like a little bit of gives you a flavor, a little one-on-one, how one-on-one coaching would be, with a lot of people in there. The other way I will offer to you too is I work with clients one-on-one, live, on Zoom. I never have to come into your house We talk about what you want to do. We talk about how you want to get there. You send me pictures. We make a plan, and every week we show up for at least 10 weeks. And you will be amazed at how much progress you can get. I feel like David Byrne in the Talking Heads video. Sorry, I am also of an age. I am a Gen Xer, and pretty much my secondary language, I'm trying to make it be Spanish, but my secondary language is pretty much pop culture. So you're gonna hear some things that come out of my mouth that may not make sense to you. But please, I see a bunch of people tuning in. Welcome. Good morning. I actually said that there is a, oh, awesome. Mama T knows. I love that. Good morning. Mama T knows says, I started decluttering yesterday in 10-minute increments. It really helps. And it does, people. It does, because what it does is what I've offered to my clients, and I will offer this to you as a trick, as a hack, not a trick. It would be like you're convincing yourself. But it's a fun idea to experiment with when you are struggling to get decluttered and you don't know where to start. Here's a fun where to start. Is just like Mama Tino said, is to set the timer on your phone for 10 minutes. That's what she did. And put the timer on, maybe put on a couple of tunes, maybe not. You like the quiet, you like the music. Make it enjoyable. And then just say, you know what? For the next 10 minutes, I'm going to just declutter, knowing what I need to do. And when you do that, what happens is you have taken the overwhelming enormity of all your clutter and you have chunked it down into a certain section. You've chunked it down into, a time increment. So at the end of that time increment, you get what we call in the biz like a dopamine hit. You get a feeling, you get a taste of success and a win. And this is especially important if you are struggling with ADHD. Or just in general, if you are beating yourself up because you can't do the whole thing in one fell swoop, is chunk it down, and every time you show up for those 20 minutes, when that alarm goes off, I just downloaded a GIF that somebody, or GIF of Tina Fey giving herself a high five. That's what I think of every time I do it. I'm like, rock on, yeah. I showed up for 10 minutes and decluttered. So that's awesome that works for you. Keep it up. Keep it up, whatever works for you. This is the other thing I want to impart with everybody, that all of you, I just guess I should say you, this is what I want to impart with you when I'm talking about decluttering in this space where there are a lot of people listening, is finding a system that works for you, works for how your brain works, that works for your lifestyle, are you an early bird? Are you a night owl? Are you busy outside the home? Do you have kids? Like, all of those things play into how you approach decluttering where you live. So the timer definitely helps. Thank you for sharing that. Somebody mentions, and I apologize, I can't read your name. I think I just woke up my husband. He's a good guy. He'll know. What can you do if you don't have a place for everything or have enough space for storage? This is a wonderful question, so thank you for asking that, because what I answer for you is going to help other people who either watch this live or see it when I upload it to YouTube. So what I want to offer to you is this, is when I talk about clutter with my clients, and I will share this with you. I like to share the info. There's no reason for me to gatekeep that. There are 3 stages of clutter. And I do it like this because it's almost like a hierarchy. I could go like this, but I always think of it as a list. So the very easy one is the top one. That's surface clutter. What you're talking about when you're saying you don't have a place for everything or have enough space for storage, that's stored clutter. That's the middle ground. And then the third one you deal with is sentimental clutter. So we're going to talk about stored clutter or trying to store your clutter. And what I want to offer to you is, prior to thinking that you don't have enough places for everything or enough storage, is what I say, sort it before you store it. Think of that as a hashtag or a little mantra. Is before you are trying to, I hope you don't, it's so funny, I'm like, there's the thing, like, I hope you didn't hear the toilet just flushing. Store it before you, excuse me, I got distracted. Sort it before you store it. What this means is, before you are looking for a home for your items or a place to store things, is just do a gut check with yourself and say to yourself, all this stuff I'm trying to find a home for and I need storage for, have I gone through it? And have I really determined, for the person I am today and the person I want to be, Do I really need all these things? Now, I offer you that as a question for you to ask yourself, and I offer for you to listen to your answer. And this is why I call myself the decluttering life coach, because it's not just about the decluttered home. It's about getting in touch with what's important to you so that it's easier for you to be surrounded by just exactly what you need that lights you up, nothing that weighs you down. And especially once you get decluttered and you learn how to stay that way, is going out into the world and living a life because you have time and freedom to go do that, because you're not worrying about your clutter or feeling weighed down by the stuff that is in your home, okay? So I don't know if AN04283, if you have sorted your stuff that you're looking for a home for, or that you've sorted the things that you want to store. I'm not sure if you have, because this is what happens when we do these types of things. But what I want to offer to you, just with love in my heart to you, and with love and curiosity, that you just want to ask yourself, have I done that? Are the things that I'm storing and wanting to put away things that I really want to keep in my life? And if they're not, what I recommend to you, and I used this last night with a client, literally, there's another mantra that will help you when you are trying to decide what you want to, as I say, pop culture wise, should I stay or should I go now? Is this stuff I want to keep or not? Is when you're looking to sort through things, if you have multiples of anything, there's going to be an inherent hierarchy in that. There's going to be like your favorite mug. Like I've got this is my favorite mug. I got one other that's like of this size and shape. I love it. We have other mugs too. But when I went to go kind of, cull out, what do you call it? I was a art history major, so curate. When you curate your collections of stuff, you take out the ones that aren't the best, and you're only left with the best. So I want to offer to all of you, everybody who's watching this, no matter when or where, say to yourself, I only deserve the best. Now that's a powerful mantra for life. That is also just a good thing to remember when you have 14 different spatulas and you know that there's one that you use all the time, or maybe there's 2 or 3. My husband does a lot of the cooking, and he attests that the 3 or 4 spatulas we have, each one is different. I will give you that. And each one serves different functions. So since I don't cook and he cooks for me, I kind of shut up because I want to be cooked for, and they don't take up that much room. We have room for it. We went through and we asked ourselves the question, and we did actually get pass along 1 or 2 of them. But when I mentioned this to a coaching client last night, she admitted when I mentioned this thing about having too many of one thing, and then what you have that's if you only deserve the best, she kind of grinned and she said, yeah, you know what? When you say that, I realized that I have a spatula that literally like kind of part of the handle melted on the side of the pan, but I kept it thinking, it's good for something. But she says, I realize I have other ones that are not damaged that are so much better. And I will tell you, when you, when you do that, and when you say to yourself, for the stuff in your home and the stuff in your life and the things in your life and the people in your life and the activities, when you just remind yourself that you only deserve the best, that allows you to more easily release the things that don't follow the best. So thank you for allowing me to share that. Now, Tara Giselle says, have you tried recording yourself doing a hard fast on time lapse? I haven't. Oh, I see what you mean. Like if I went around and decluttered. Yeah, actually, I did that once. You'll see it on my TikTok page. And I meant, if I can mention, please, if you're struggling with your clutter and you like what I'm doing, please like my TikTok page. I post videos there every day to give you specific tips about how to declutter, and also sometimes just inspirational ways and fun and goofy ways, because that's how I am, inspirational and fun and goofy, to look at your stuff and just from a different direction. I did a video when I'm in my kitchen. I'm looking over to where my dishes are, and I did one where I decided to see how long it would take me to empty out my dishwasher, because I'm usually like, oh, okay, that's my job, I got to do it. And part of your brain might be telling you that you don't have enough time to do your cluttering. So I decided to take a page out of the last corporate book that I had to work from, which was a process engineer, where we had to time people to see how long they took things. And while I didn't really particularly enjoy that in the corporate world, because it was always like faster, harder, more widgets, I was just doing it for myself out of curiosity to be like, okay, how long does it really take me if I just, do it at a good pace that feels good, and it literally took me like 5 minutes. So actually, thank you, Chara Giselle, for clarifying a hard task, recording yourself and doing it on time lapse. That's really cool idea for also anybody here. So thank you for that tip. I'm going to offer that up. So I love that what you know that has worked for you perhaps is that has helped you, and you're sharing it with me so I can help it with others, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to share what has worked for me, what has worked with clients of mine. I'm here to share it with you so that you can get curious about, well, maybe what she offered, I'll experiment with it and see if it works for me. So thank you for offering that. Let me scroll here. I will say this. Thank you for everybody who's just tuning in right now. Okay, there we go. Thank you for the gift badge you just gave me in a rose. I don't quite know how that works, but I know it's something nice, so thank you very much. Good morning, Grandma Grateful. I remember your name from an earlier TikTok live, so thank you for showing up again. If everybody, I am showing up every day this week on TikTok live because next week I am traveling, and I'm not going to because I want to travel. And, it's good to have boundaries. But what I will offer is this. If you know somebody who's struggling with clutter and you think, gosh, I wish they were watching this, on my TikTok page, it shows what days and times for this week I am showing up tomorrow and the next day. I guess Thursday and Friday. And maybe on Saturday. But I say that because if you look at the one that I posted, there's like a pin posted, a post pinned that says when I'm going to show up. Now, I actually said that I was going to show up at 8 o'clock today, but I got up early and I thought, you know what? The more I can show up, the more I can help people. So I will offer to you that, technically in 10 or 12 minutes, I will be technically on it at 8 o'clock Eastern, but I will be on for only about 40 minutes after that because I actually have something to do at 9 that I want to honor. Oh, hey. So thank you for saying you talked to your mom yesterday. You shared my YouTube with her and told her you would get a lot done while your announcement. Cool. And thank you for so Grandma Grateful. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with your mother, because here's something that I want to offer to everybody, because since this is my wheelhouse, all I think about, because I enjoy helping people with it so much, because I know it can be so stressful and overwhelming and scary and painful, and you might be thinking of all the bad things about decluttering, but I do this all the time. And what I want to mention just right now is you may not be the cluttered person, but you may have parents who are cluttered. You may have children who are struggling with keeping their rooms tidy. The skills that I teach when I'm coaching and what I offer here apply to people of any age. But what I also want to mention, especially because you said your mom, now this is where I'm just going to get real for a second. If you have parents that are alive, when they pass, or even before then, if they need to downsize or go into a home, you are probably going to be the person who is going to be having to sort through their clutter. Now, I say this because of that notion of forewarned is forearmed, or as my Bostonian brain says, forearms. And I say that because the sooner you start today having a conversation with your parents with love and compassion, and just touching base to say, hey, not to be morbid, but can I help you with your clutter? Can we start now? So that it doesn't get to a point where you might need to make a decision in crisis mode and also have to deal with stuff and clutter. Or sadly, if they unexpectedly or expectedly pass, then you're not only just processing your grief and trying to move stuff out of a house. That's overwhelming. So I mentioned to everybody, remind yourself that you're going to have to deal with your parental clutter. I do some videos on that. I'm going to write it down that I'm going to do a parental clutter video today, just to give you some tips, because that is a tough thing. I've helped my own family, and I've helped other people with it, and it's really a good time to have some support in your life. Okay, just want to mention that because Grandma Grateful said that she shared my YouTube. When I do these, I put them up on YouTube so people can watch it later, and she said, she watching you digested, she try it, she was more receptive this time. And here's what I want to offer, because I've done this myself, and it doesn't work when you do it the wrong way. If you come into somebody's life and you're like, all right, this is it, we're getting you straightened up, you're a mess, but I'm going to clean you up, this is ridiculous, this has gone on long enough, Can you imagine if somebody showed up in your life to do that? I would be flipping them the bird, And even if I kind of agreed with them on a certain level, I'd be digging in my heels because who the hell are you to tell me, right? But if you go into somebody's life and be like, hey, love and compassion, peace and love, as Ringo says, peace and love in your heart. And you say, hey, you know what? I was watching this lady. I was drinking my coffee or tea on TikTok this morning, and this woman was talking about clutter and stuff and how it can be overwhelming. And you seem to have a lot of stuff in your house, and I just want to offer to you, if you're overwhelmed, she was giving me some tips and tricks. Maybe we can try some, because I know what it feels like. Just have a conversation, but peace and love, compassion for your parent or whoever it is that's struggling. If they have a lot of stuff, they're struggling with something. They may not be aware of it. They may not want to get in touch with it. But just if you show to be like, hey, I'm here to help you, and your vibe is in the right place, you will get a lot further than if you show up judgy. I'm not saying anybody here is going in being judgy, but just mind what your vibe is when you're approaching people like that, and you may allow them to open up and say, yeah, you know what, you're right, I am so overwhelmed. I did it with my mother. She had piles of paper all over the place. She has ADHD. She has been this way all her life. Now, I'm not going to change her, but I did say, as her daughter and basically as the client in that relationship, you know what, I see that you're straight. Would you like some help with this? It's something I do it really well. Or you could say, I got some tips from this lady on the TikTok. I can help you with this. You want to do it together? Let me ease your burden. You might get a good response, okay? And do that to yourself too. Honestly, when you're talking nice to other people out in the real world, remember to talk nice to yourself. And the funny thing is I notice when I start to speak like that, I go like this. I go from this side of my body to this side. And that's because I will offer this to you, is I think of myself, and I would offer this image to you. Think of your life as you are in the driver's seat of a car, and you are driving towards the places you want to go. Now, if you're not doing the things you want to do in your life, if your life isn't looking and feeling like you want it to, that's because you may be listening to some voices in your head that I say come from your backseat drivers, okay? But when I do this, when I say love and compassion, I say talk nice to yourself. This is because you also have a place in you that you may not hear a lot, because the little kids in the back seat are like chattering all the time, telling you to stop, and don't do it, it's overwhelming. But you have somebody in your co-pilot seat, somebody that is talking nice to you and saying, you can do it, it's cool, you got this. Anything you want to do in your life, you can do it. And that's what I model when I do the coaching behavior. And so that you learn to speak nicely to yourself, and then when you speak nicely to yourself and encourage yourself to do the things you want, and you are able to quiet down the kids in the back seat so you can drive forward, that is when the magic happens, okay? So thank you. And I just got a notification, I guess I have my notifications turned on, that somebody, Sylvia, I think you just subscribed to me on YouTube. So thank you very much for doing that. Every little bit helps. Thank you. Okay, so Ligaya58, you say, I'm sorry if I'm mangling anybody's names, I'm trying my best. What's the most efficient way to sell clothing? The first thing I will offer before selling anything, so if you don't have clothing to sell, but if you are storing some stuff in your house thinking you want to sell it someday, first thing I will offer is see what people are paying for what you're selling. Just take the temperature of what the market is bearing. And what I want to offer is, because I've done this myself, is really get in tune with yourself to say, is the amount of time I am going to have to spend in order to sell something worth the money I'm going to get? So if you're doing it by yourself, if you're strictly doing it, let's say online, Poshmark, I mean, you can Google places to do it. There are also, maybe I will offer this, there might be consignment stores near you. Look for consignment stores near you that you can bring your clothing, or a vintage store if you have vintage clothing. Vintage stores and consignment stores, ask them if they are accepting anything. Bring it to them, and that may be the easiest possible way of turning the clothing you don't want into some money, okay? But what I want to offer is, if you don't do either of those things, and you have items that are maybe worth $10, $20, $30, just remind yourself. Thank you, Judith Smith, for subscribing to YouTube. Just remind yourself that your time is valuable. Your time is precious. And one of the aspects of decluttering when I work with people and I coach people is also talking about where are you spending your time? You only have a finite amount of time on the planet. Time is the one thing we never get back. So I encourage people to just really think about how much time it's going to get them and what result they're going to get. Prioritizing the things that are important to them. Because this is what I want to offer. Now, I have sold things before. And I have been able to do things because I sold things, because I had saved some, I had thrifted some things, and I knew they were valuable, that I thrifted, and it was like furniture and stuff. And I was able to sell some stuff so I could go on this cool trip with a friend of mine that I've had. She and I have known each other since we were like 4 years old. And she was like, hey, you want to go to Morocco with me? And I'm like, hell yeah. But I'm like, I don't have Morocco money. But then I said, okay, I've got some stuff in my basement I can sell. But the difference there, and as I just want to make everybody just be aware of the difference, is it's going to take you, if you're trying to sell something one-on-one by yourself, you are going to have to find the thing, clean it up, take pictures, write a description, post it online, answer questions, receive the payment, pay the payment fees, pack up the thing, pay for the shipping, get it to the person, make sure they are okay with it, that they write you a good review, that they don't return it, and then and only then, what's left after there is the time you have left and the money you get. So I caution you to just really think hard and fast about if the things that you are trying to sell are under $50, let's say. Is it really worth your time to do all those steps? You're the only one who can answer that, but I just want to offer to you that you may spend a lot of time that you won't get back in all those steps of that process, and then at the end you may make like $30. Now, I'm not saying $30 is nothing. Like, it's not like I'm rolling in money, but I sometimes say that my time is too valuable on this planet. If I, died tomorrow, will I have wanted to spend that time doing something that I enjoy versus trying to make some smaller bills? Now, you can spend those same amount of time, and if what you have to sell, let's say you have designer clothing that everybody wants, you may make a few $100s. That might be a little bit more worth your time if you want to make money from it. Okay? But I just want to offer that to anybody who's thinking of selling anything. There's a cost to making money from your stuff, and just make sure that aligns with what you want to be spending. The only thing that you have on the planet that you don't get back is your time. Now, that's not to say, if somebody could even say to me, if you want to be a little devil's advocate, to be like, then why the heck should I declutter my house? I should be out playing all the time. And yeah, if you want to do that, rock on with your bad self. What I want to offer is that when you spend your time to declutter your home and your life, you are doing a couple of things. You are making the surroundings that you are surrounded by 24/7 more enjoyable. So you're always feeling in a good mood because your house is nice and organized. You also have peace of mind because you can find everything that you want at a drop of a hat. You are paying your bills on time because your mail isn't all over the place. And you also, this is the thing I love about decluttering, is you find so much out about yourself, about what's important to you right now and who you want to be in the future. Okay? So decluttering is worth spending the time on because the benefits, it's an investment of your time now that you benefit from for the rest of your life once you learn how to get decluttered and stay that way. Okay? Hope that helps. House of Robins is saying so much, exclamation points, overwhelming. Here's what I want to offer to all of you, and especially to House of Robins because you kindly posted this. Anytime you think of the word or you hear the word overwhelm, when you feel overwhelmed, when you say that word, when you hear it in your head, when you say it out loud, the only thing that means, this should be like a when I hear this, I think that kind of association, is that you're just looking at the entirety of what you need to do as opposed and stopping because you don't know where to start. And what I want to offer is this mindset. It's like, and as I said, I call my coaching Destination Decluttered because I am all about traveling, getting excited about where you're going. I'm all about road tripping, and I want to offer this road tripping motif. When you feel and look overwhelmed, it's like you have a map of the United States in front of you, and that you're on the East Coast, because I'm on the East Coast, and your goal, your destination is I want to be decluttered, and let's say decluttered is over here in California. So in order to get there from here, you have to drive, right? You have to do some things between where you are and where you want to be. Overwhelm is making you look at this entire map, as opposed to even just looking at I'm flipping this over, it's the wrong, I think that's but it's looking at the entire map, as opposed to just looking at where am I right now and where can I drive today. It's like looking at the entirety, like if I'm driving to California, thinking that right now I need to know if I need to take a left or a right when I'm out near Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? So what I say is chunk it on down. When you say overwhelmed, that's a clue for you that you're looking at it too big. And the opposite is look at it small. And what small thing can you do today to start yourself on that journey to get decluttered? What I want to offer to you too is something that somebody said at the very top of the hour here, which was to set a timer. This is something I offer all the time. Set the timer on your phone for 10 or 20 minutes and then just declutter. Do the things you know how to do, the surface clutter, trash in the trash, recycles in the recycles, dirty laundry in the dirty laundry thing, dishes that are dirty go in the sink, dirty dishes that are in the sink could go in the dishwasher, what have you. But just do it for 20 minutes. And that is exactly like you wanting to drive from where you are, or like from driving from the East Coast to California and driving 20 minutes west, because 20 minutes west is going to get you further away from where you are now. You're going to be less cluttered even 20 minutes from now if you start now than when you started. Now I say that when I want to offer this too is when I do these TikTok lives, I don't change. I don't show up. I don't look glamorous. I'm not doing any magic tricks. You do not even need to watch this TikTok live in order to glean the benefits from it. If anything, I will offer that you can get more benefit from these TikTok lives that I do if you put the phone down and you just listen to what I say. You don't need to see me doing this hand gesture. I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm having fun here. But if you just listen to what I say and you declutter while you're listening to me, that's like a win-win. Because you'll realize that you can go from being still and inaction to just getting up and doing the decluttering you know how to do. And then when you get stuck, then you'll know what to ask for, to be like, oh, I realized that I'm in a place where somebody said earlier, I don't have a room for all the stuff I have. And then you can say to yourself, I don't have room for all this stuff, but let me see if I even need all this stuff. Let me sort out what is important to me right now to help me live my best life today, and what are the things that I am saving to ensure that I have a good life tomorrow. And oftentimes we have saved things in the past that are dragging us down that we thought we needed that aren't doing it for us now or who we want to be. And those are the things that you can start to part with, okay? Hope that helps. All right. Julie C. Art says she's in Haverhill, Massachusetts. I used to come to Haverhill. Let me think. What do I remember about Haverhill? There was a good Salvation Army. See, I'm a clutter. I was a collector. I still am. There was like a multi-level Salvation Army in the downtown. There was also a vintage diner I took some pictures of. Yeah, I love it. My mother used to, where I'm all from, my whole family's from Massachusetts. I remember my mother said she was a camp counselor, and there was a kid from her bunk that was from Haverhill. So small world after all, huh? All right. Thank you, everybody. Let me see. Okay, I love this. A few more. Okay, this is the hysterical thing, and I just got to share it right now because this comes up, is the way that TikTok shows me these your questions is it won't show me any, so I'll be like, oh, nobody's answering a question. I'll just go riffing. And then I go like this, and then all of a sudden, it's like a flood of questions. So I only offer this too, is that I'm going to endeavor to answer all of your questions, because thank you so much for articulating something you're struggling with, because not only can it help you, but it'll help others. However, if I don't answer it, please know it was not intentional. I have not zipped past your question and it wasn't worthy. It may have flown by me and it may be out in the ether that it's difficult for me to get back to it, okay? So I will say this, if you have asked a question here and I have not answered it, what I offer for you to do is here on TikTok, you can send me a message. You can send me an email too. I think my email's there, my website, destinationdecluttered.com. You can sign up for my mailing list, sign up for coaching, all that stuff. But what I want to say is if you answered a question and I didn't answer it, send me a message and I can create a video that is an answer to your question, okay? Because I don't want anybody to feel like they're not being seen, because I value the fact that you've done that. But holy frickamole, there are a lot of questions. The TikTok didn't see me until we did this. Okay, yeah, all right, let me try to go through some of these. Okay, that's a bunch of follows. Somebody made a bunch of, okay, awesome. Julie, you made $100 on Poshmark this month. Rock on with your bad self. As I said, whoa, this is funny. I got a new thing. I got a more portable, because as I said, I like to travel. I got a more portable thing for my phone, and I almost knocked my phone over. Okay, time is so important. Yes, it is. Kitchen and laundry. Okay, kitchen and laundry. Got to offer this to everybody. We will all benefit so much when we just realign our internal thoughts about kitchen and laundry, because kitchen and laundry are things, places and tasks that, unless you want to be naked, you're going to have to just, they are recurring themes. They are never one and done. They are always a process that you do. But you can break down that process and how you feel about it into more manageable bits. You can also get help in the house, unless you're living alone. If you're not living alone, there are other people in your house over the age of 3 and under the age of, 103, if they're still active. If there are other people living in your house, they should be helping it. I'm just saying. See, somebody said a daughter took $100 boots to resell, got 12. Yeah, you will rarely get, unless you have invested in quality pieces, and even then, it depends on what people are spending. But you will rarely get what you paid for your things that you want to sell. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to share with you a little mantra, a little nugget to remind yourself of. I always give attribution to Seth Godin, who knows who he got it from, but he talks about ignoring the sunk costs. You got to ignore the money you put into it. If it's not working out for you, ignore it and move on. I say this. He says ignore. I like the word release. Absolve yourself. Release yourself from the sunk costs. Know that you bought something, you enjoyed it, you thought it was going to work for you. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. And now you're feeling like it's time to release it. Don't expect to get the money back from it that you got, and it will be much easier for you to release it from your life. Okay, that's great. Julie C is giving some good tips about Poshmark. As I said, rock on with your bad self. If you've got a process that works for you and you're sharing it with others, that's cool. I'm not going to judge. Yay, good. Sell local, good stuff. Somebody mentioned not worrying about people stopping by. Here's what I want to offer to you. And this was kind of sadly hysterical and sad again, was I was working with a client and she said, "Oh, do you know what chaos is?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm helping you with your stuff and it's kind of chaotic around here." She was like, CHAOS, can't have anybody over syndrome, meaning that your house looks so bad you can't have anybody over. And while it's clever to create an acronym like that, it's also kind of, to me, it's really heartbreaking that there are enough people that feel that they can't have people over because their houses are so cluttered that somebody made an acronym and it resonated with a lot of people. I love this. Bird Lady is saying, our family is decluttering to downsize and to travel more, creating ease by having less. Testify. I love that. I'm so glad you're doing it, and I'm so glad you're showing up to encourage other people to realize that when you declutter, it creates freedom in your life. It creates more money because you're not spending so much on stuff. You may not be spending money on storage units that you're paying every month for, or late fees because you can't find your bills, and spending your time doing the things that are important to you. Downsizing so you have less of a house to pay for and fill up and maintain. So cool stuff. I like knickknacks a lot too, Julie C. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look, I get stuff hanging on my walls. These are some glasses. My house is filled with knickknacks, but what I've done is I have curated my collection. I've gone through and made sure they're not broken, they're not dusty, that they don't tell me a bad story, and I love the ones that I do have. Okay. This and That Creation says you get too worn out going through what to keep and what not to keep and wind up throwing nothing out. Okay, this is what I want to offer to you is, yes, decision fatigue is a real thing. You have obviously felt that. It's so true. What I want to offer is, instead of doing too much and running out of steam and abandoning the whole project, try this. First of all, set yourself up for success. Do not go into it when you're feeling exhausted or crabby or overwhelmed. It's like being behind the wheel of your car and like driving somewhere you want to go to, but if you're feeling crappy, if you've got the cranky pants on, if you're feeling bloaty, if your like bra straps are falling down, like you can't get comfortable, get yourself feeling in a good mindset and a good body set before you do this, and it will make it a lot more enjoyable. The other thing I want to offer is try this. Set your timer for 20 minutes and say, I'm just going to go through the amount of clothing that I know I want to keep or donate in 20 minutes, and then have the stuff that I keep. After the 20 minutes goes off, the donate stuff will be in a bag, and my stuff that I want to keep, I'm going to put away. And to just do it in 20-minute increments. That will reduce the likelihood that you're going to feel exhausted and overwhelmed and then just throw your hands up in the air and say, forget it. Okay. Tara Giselle says, what do you say to, I might need it later or want it later? As an artist, it's hard to let go of something. Oh, I love this because I have done, I did a one-on-one with a client that was an artist who struggled with the same thing. And I am actively in a coaching relationship now with an artist who said, I need help with my studio because I have all this stuff, I'm not getting my artwork done. And my studio is not my refuge that I want it to be. So I will offer this to you. Artistic brains, I have one. I love them. I love seeing the possibilities and things that other more neurotypical people do not see, that could be used for multiple purposes. What I will offer to you is get real with your stuff, and not like in a mean way, but just get curious to say, am I really using these colored pencils that are I'm supposed to use them on black and white photographs and make them color? Am I using them? If you are, great. Those are things you're using, so keep them. If you're not, though, before you chuck it, you say, will I really ever use this? Be real with yourself. What are the mediums you tend to gravitate towards? What are the things you like to show up and do? You know, I say this from firsthand experience because I'm a creative person. I was an art history major. I love taking photographs. And at a certain point, I was seeing people doing all these upcycled crafts. So I thought I wanted to do that too because I thought it was such a cool idea. You're saving stuff from the environment. The stuff that you get is really, the end result is really cool. So I would collect all this stuff saying I could do something with this someday. But I realized that someday never came because even when I had the time, I wasn't doing it. And then when I realized about myself, and I'll just offer this to everybody, is I didn't really want to do the creative process. I wanted the item at the end of it, but I didn't want to do the creative process. So what I did was, like, I was saving old Christmas ornaments for years to make one of those wreaths. I just realized that there are other people there who enjoy making the things, and I want to support them. So I bought a wreath from this Georgia Peaches woman. I love this wreath. Every time I bring it out, it brings me joy. She did such a good job on it, and she kind of absolved me from having to feel obligated and draggy towards those things. So just get real with yourself about what you're using and what you're not. Do the I only deserve the best. So any items, any craft items or artistic items that you're hanging on to that aren't working well, release those. And then the other thing too is this applies not just specifically to artistic items, but this is a really good one. I used this on with a coach. Actually, this is funny because these are two things that I talked about in a coaching session last night with a client, which was, one was, believing you only deserve the best. So any of the things that work well for you, that's great. If they don't, that's a way to de-accession them. But the other thing was, and this is what happens to me sometimes because I have a bit of the ADHD in my brain and my mouth go faster than I can think of it. This will come to me. Oh, just believe that you can borrow. Here's another one. We talked about little hashtags, little nuggets I can leave you with. So when you're out in your world, is believe you can borrow or believe you can buy if you need to. And I only say buy specifically because you're asking about artistic things. So you wouldn't necessarily borrow paint from somebody because then if you use it, you're not returning it. But like a pressure cooker, if you don't have one, instead of buying one, think of, well, if I do want one, maybe I can borrow one and try it out. So if you let go of something now, just let yourself say to yourself, to make it easier, to say, if I need something like this in the future, I bet I can borrow it from somebody. When I need it, not if I need it. You're hanging on to stuff if you need it. Find out when that time actually comes. I'll say this, I love the look. This is going to be random. I love the look of these vintage Oster blenders, okay? They get the nice chrome kind of Art Deco base, nice and heavy. My grandmother had one. And this is funny because I was pissed because when my parents cleaned out my grandmother's house when I was in high school, I said I wanted to keep that, and they said no. And so I was kind of bent out of shape about it for years. And then at a certain point when I grew up and I was like, I can get my own goddamn blender if I want to, the nice glass thing, it was so cool. What I want to offer to you is this. I haven't done that because you know why? I've lived a life where I haven't needed a blender. I don't blend things. If I was blending things, yeah, I would go and get that vintage blender and it would be on my counter and it'd be lighting me up, kind of like the KitchenAid mixer. I don't mix, I don't blend. So it's okay, but if I want it, I can go get it. But I don't. So I don't clutter my life up with it. Yep. Just do 10 minutes a day. Yep, set your timer so you know when that it is. An object at a time, one foot in front of the other. I love it, you guys. See, we all know these things and we're all helping somebody else, and that's why I show up here. Good time to reintroduce myself. My name is Beth. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered, and I call myself the Decluttering Life Coach because it's not just about having a decluttered home that's good, but it's gets boring if that's all you got. What I want you to do is I want you to create time and space in your life to do the things that you really like to do, like artwork, for example, or traveling, you know. Okay, so Michelle Mace 516 says, the days of worrying about clutter are over. The world is falling apart. That is what overwhelms me. Okay, so my heart goes out to you when you're feeling overwhelmed because the world is falling apart. Yeah, there are many things in the world that suck. I am not going to deny that. What I want to offer to you, though, is you just gave a perfect example of overwhelm, meaning you're looking at it too big. Okay, so I say this to you with love and compassion, and I offer it to everybody. Yeah, the world, if you're looking at the entire world and all that's going on the planet, it's a cluster. There are horrible things going on. However, there are good things going on in the world, too. But what I want to offer is the overwhelm of the world. Shrink that down into your life right now. And I'm just going to offer this to you because this is what happens to me. Is when I feel like crap, I do crap. I do nothing. When I feel like crap, when I talk to myself, oh, the world's going, oh my God, the world sucks. People suck. This is hard. It makes me feel like crap inside. And I don't do good work. I don't do any work. I just sit there and I'm paralyzed. I'm overwhelmed. I don't do anything. What I want to offer is even when the world is falling apart around you, if you get into yourself and say, all right, there's a lot of shit going on. I know there's good stuff here. When you are able to get yourself in a better place emotionally, you can then go out and do better things. You can help make the world a better place. And I'm not saying you need to do grand things. Like literally, you could help a neighbor. You could, offer somebody a smile. You could put yourself where you're needed and at least know that while the world is falling apart, this is how I move, is I want to know at the end of I want part of my legacy to be, and when I'm on my deathbed, to know that even when the world was falling apart, I did something to make it better. And me, honestly, doing one of the ways I believe, honestly, that I am helping the world be better is for me to show up every day this morning or this week doing a TikTok live, helping people realize that they can adjust their clutter. Ideally, what I'm hoping is that when I sign off in about 20 minutes or so, that everybody who's on here, and even after you're watching this on YouTube, that you have a sense of possibility and hope and a stirring of, you know what, maybe things could suck out there, but I can do some good stuff in the world. Because if everybody felt like they could do a little bit of good in the world, what a cool, much better world we could do. When we allow ourselves to have the negative stories of the world, I mean, they're horrific. But when you allow that to paralyze yourself and not allow you to go out in the world and be doing the good stuff, that's when the world really does suck, because it sucks out there and it sucks in here. When you can make it feel better in here, you will, as I say, when you feel better, you do better. I firmly believe that. And for decades, I did not feel better, so I did not do better. I had occasional flare-ups of wonderfulness that have, kind of led me to my life. But when I found that if I got my stuff together and I could do something that helped me and helped the world consistently, it just lights up every day. And then you can inspire other people. Look at me. I'm just me at my kitchen table, but because I feel better and I'm doing better, I am helping almost 200 people right now realize that they have the possibility within themselves, okay? So I truly say this, Michelle. My heart goes out to you for allowing the world to overwhelm you. You're looking at it too big. Try focusing it on down and say, what can I do to make myself feel better today? And so I have the energy to go make the world better, okay? All right. All sorts of things going on here. Somebody's cleaning as you speak. Rock on. People are giving tips and tricks. This is great. Oh my gosh, somebody says art project piles will be the death of me. Yeah, piles. Oh my God, I've lived in things. I just set my phone down while I'm checking the kitchen. Awesome. Okay, whoops. A bunch of questions just flew by me. I'm going to try to get to all of them. Let's see what I can do to help. A bunch of people following. I am in the process of decluttering my tea party supplies right now. Feels so good. Yeah. See, this is the fun thing, too. We forget. People always give decluttering a bad rap. Decluttering is an excuse to go play with the stuff that you've collected. It's like, oh, hey, look at this. Remember this? it's like walking down memory lane. And if you've only, when you save the good stuff, I think this is the thing that people get afraid of. They think that everything they're going to unbox, and especially like sentimental clutter or stuff, that it's going to tell you a bad story. And you're going to be telling yourself, even your tea party, oh, I have too much. I shouldn't have bought this. This was so expensive. I'm not even using it. Like, see how crappy that makes you feel? But instead be like, oh, wow, I remember this one. I thought this was going to work. But you know what? Now that I see all my mugs, now I see all my teacups, I realize I have so many. I could pass along some of those and still be lit up with just the ones that I have. And I'm only choosing the best because I only choose the best. So don't forget about what fun it is to play with your toys, to look at the stuff that you collected. The things that you collected have stories about them. If they have bad stories, I suggest that you just donate those things away. Don't keep anything in your life that tells you a bad story. Too short. Okay, where do we go? Sorry. Donate. Yep, can't change the world, change yourself. Remind myself that the world can be my storage. I don't have to keep something in my house. Yes, I said that actually. So last night, I love this because what I was helping a specific one-on-one client with her specific thing is now coming back multiples because we were talking about this. She lives in a small apartment that has very little storage space, and she only lives alone, and yet she was shopping at Costco. And so we were joking about the fact that it's like, well, I guess you could like create a chair out of those giant loaves of paper towels, right? But the thing is you can use, like I said to her, instead of doing that, why not just pretend that the store is the external storage? Now, I know this brings up feeling of lack and fear of not having with people, especially with people from the Depression and even more recently with COVID when there were things that were running out. We are in a good place now. And when you have a sense in yourself of abundance and sufficiency versus lack, you can say, yeah, you know what, I'm only going to buy a few of these, and I'm going to trust in the world that when I need more paper towels, they are stored over at the store. To get it? I just thought of that. Stored at the store. It's stored. Oh, I'm going to have fun with that, okay? But what I want to offer to you is we do the same thing. My husband and I, we have a busy lifestyle. We do things, no day is the same. So we really have to make a commitment to when we buy a fresh vegetable that we're going to be around to eat it. So I say to him, and we live pretty close to a grocery store, you know what, let's just start to do that thing where when we know we're going to be home to eat a fresh vegetable, go over to the grocery store and allow our fresh vegetables to be like stored there, and all we have to do is buy them, okay? Let's see. Existential crisis is a product of idle hands. Now I'm singing the Smiths. The idle hands to do. I get overwhelmed at work and I tend to shut down if I can't do it all. Again, this is a recurring motif, and I love seeing where it manifests itself in so many people's lives because it's the same answer. Overwhelmed. Overwhelms means you're looking at it too big. Even Nana Bobby B, you said, I get overwhelmed if I can't do it all. It's because you're looking at it too big. You're trying to do it all. Don't try to do it all. Don't try to do it all at the same time. Chunk it down. Take the wide angle lens that you're looking at it at. Take that map, trying to do it all, trying to drive from, which side am I on now? I can't even remember. Trying to drive from the East Coast to California in one fell swoop. It's not going to happen. It's physically impossible. It's physically impossible for you to do it all. So pick the things that are most important to you, chunk it down, and start to work on those. And that's going to help you massively. That's very nice. Shiloh Love 4 says, you've been very motivating to many this week. Thank you. That's why I'm showing up. And I will say this, I'm just giving you a heads up. Next week, I may show up for a handful of these, but we're traveling. This is another thing I want to offer to everybody just in general. And I say this with love and compassion, is you may have situations in your life that you have, people have given you stuff or just said, hey, do you want this? And you don't really want it, but you say yes because you don't want to get in trouble or you don't want them to be mad at you. Boundaries. Boundaries are a wonderful thing, and they don't have to be mean. They can be just you taking care of yourself, right? So I want to offer this. Like, I'm doing that to myself because, frankly, I have fun with these TikTok lives. I really enjoy thinking that I'm helping people and being told that I am, so that makes me show up. However, I know that next week when we are on vacation, my situation's going to be different, and I don't want to show up and do this because I want to be on vacation and being in the now where I am. right? So that's not to say that I'm mad at you and I'm not going to show up and whatever. If anything, the great thing is I record these and put them on YouTube. So next week you could just listen to YouTube versions of some that I've done already that you may have not attended. But what I say is it's important for you, it's important for all of us to not give 100% to everybody else and leave nothing with yourself. If I forced myself to do a TikTok live when I was on vacation, forced myself, don't want to do it, I would come at it with kind of a resentful energy and kind of a whatever, so I don't show up at all. What I know is I might pop up and do it. There might be a morning that my husband's sleeping late and I can sneak outside and I can do one if I want to, and if I don't want to, that's okay. The decision is mine as to when I show up and when I don't. But please know that I'm going to provide you with so many resources that my physical absence won't impact anything, okay? My aunt and I send each other pics every Sunday of before and after of the things we declutter. I love that. What a cool idea. Getting an accountability partner, like that's part of what I do as a coach. I'm somebody's accountability partner. But if you have somebody in your life that wants to help you with that and you're both doing it in like the spirit of collaboration and fun, what a cool idea, Ginny Cook 483. Thank you for offering that. That's a really cool idea. Good stuff. 5-day cleaning. Somebody says, okay, and here's the thing, Sandy Beach, 1976. Now, I don't know where you live, and I don't know, how close you are to stores and things like that. Yes, those scarring incidents of having to wait in line for toilet paper mean you never want to have it again. But I would offer this. You might want to, that's a fear of lack, fear of not having based thing that you're doing. You're hoarding for fear that you won't have it in the future. Now, what I want to offer is you can untrain yourself of that a little bit. Just do this. I'll offer. Every time you are in the store, walk down the toilet paper aisle and see that they have toilet paper. Now, if they don't, maybe you're doing a good thing. But if they have toilet paper, your backseat drivers are saying, you got to hoard this. You got to keep it. You got to keep, in case you need it again. Never want to be like that the last time we were caught off guard. It's like Blizzard of 78. I remember that when I was up, a kid growing up in Massachusetts. You get kind of triggered, I don't want to say triggered, that's a bad word. Like you get scarred from that and you want to keep yourself safe again. But what I want to offer is if those food and paper goods are getting in your way, if they are cluttering up your home and you're tripping over them and things are expiring before you use them, things like that, what I want to offer is you can go to the store, and when you go to the store, say, you know what? There was that time when I couldn't get this stuff, but every time for the last 6 months, I've been at the store, and every time I've walked down the toilet paper aisle, there's toilet paper there. So I'm going to trust and believe that I don't have to hoard things, and that when I need it, I can go to the store and get it. I'm not saying it's a one quick fix, but just be mindful of where the thoughts in your brain are coming from. If there are things that are making you cling on to things, they are usually from your what I call your backseat drivers based in fear versus your co-pilot who's telling you things are going to be okay, there's love, there's sufficiency. Okay, just offer. Yeah. Amazon boxes, break them on down, recycling, or if you have stuff to declutter, put stuff in decluttering and donate it. Okay, let me get a time check. Okay, it's 8:30. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. I do this. I set myself up with a teacup when I do these, and then I just start talking and I don't shut up. Now my tea is going to be like lukewarm. It's fine. Oh, this is a good one. So Stuff D73 says, advice for someone whose spouse refuses to get rid of anything. Okay? Now, everybody has their own stuff story, and everybody has their own level of comfort with the items that surround them. I'm trying to be so diplomatic about this. And what I want to offer is, here's what I would say to that, is before looking, if you have no problem with stuff and clutter, if you are perfect in that arena, then yes, have a conversation with your spouse with love and compassion to say, hey, not judgy and not bitchy, like set yourself up for a win by coming at it with curiosity and compassion. That's how I deal with so much now, even to myself, to say, why did I react that way? Just get curious and maybe have a conversation about, hey, you know what? Like I'm noticing we have a lot of stuff in the house. It's kind of stressing me out. But let me ask you, Like, what is going on with you in your head? And phrase it nicely. I'm not thinking of the best words because I'm trying to get the sentiment out quickly to you. But just from your heart, say to them, hey, is this stuff, do you feel like, what's going on? Do we really need all this stuff? And be it with curiosity, like what's making you hang on to these things? Because we all have internal stories of why we're hanging on with stuff. Somebody just a second ago said, I'm hanging on to this stuff because in COVID we had to wait in line and I never want that to happen again. A lot of times I didn't have a lot of stuff when I was growing up. I never got those toys that I wanted. I mean, did you hear me talk about that blender from 1985? Like, we hold those things in us. So your spouse has some stories in them that are causing them to hold on to things. So maybe even get curious about that and have a conversation with it. Make them realize that those things could be released or not. It's a journey with that type of thing. What I would say is the best thing is and trust me, I have a husband. He collects a lot of stuff. He's a musician. He's got all these things. And I'm a declutterer. So I am always like, what is this? Do you really need this? Are you using this? But I've gotten so much better at it. But I will say if you come at it with curiosity and compassion versus judginess and let's clean up the stuff and your stuff is crap and my stuff is good, then you are more likely to make headway in the direction you want, which is a place that is mutually beneficial. If you could paint a picture to your husband, or as you say, I said husband, that's judgy of me. You're saying spouse. When you can paint a picture to your spouse of how cool it would feel in your house when it wasn't so cluttered, that it would feel calm, that you could find everything, that you would know where everything is, it would smell good, you could have friends over. If you paint that after picture, and it's so funny, I go like this because I'm used to coaching in my office, my studio, and when I do that, I have a little map behind me that has a little car, a little pin, and another pin. This is why I call my coaching destination decluttered. When you create a destination that you are like, yeah, you know what? I want to go to there, as Tina Fey would say. I want my life to look and feel that way. Yeah, okay, that feels like I can even say when I'm doing this, I'm looking up, I'm being aspirational. I can feel a feeling in my heart of, yeah, that'd be cool if my life was like that, you know? Yeah, let's do that. What can we do today to get closer to that destination for the both of us? You know, start small, show up like that. But this is the one thing I will always say, because I crack myself up because I'm always realizing at a certain point I'm going to try to start to sing like Julie Andrews in Sound of Music. But when you start at the very beginning, a very good place to start, what I say at the beginning of my coaching sessions, we always start at the end, which is like a road trip. Where are we headed? Where are you excited to get to? Why are we going to put up with the sometimes not so fun process of decluttering? Where are we getting to? Why are we putting up with that? Where are we getting to that's worth putting up with that? And best thing you can do is fall in love with what you want your life to look and feel like. Feel it in your heart and say, I want my life to be like that. What can I do today to move myself closer to it? Okay? So share in that journey with your spouse and see how that works. Okay? Somebody did mention, just really quickly, I don't know the details, you can Google it, but allegedly, I haven't tried it myself, so that's why I say allegedly, that there's a way that you can use your old Amazon boxes and put stuff that you want to donate in it, and I think that they pick them up for free. I'll research that if somebody knows. Okay, so Lucky Girl CR, I will say this, your house is cluttered. Oops, I don't want all the things. We are out of space. Can you help with? Yes, I can. The first step, ADHD doesn't help. Because I deal with ADHD people all the time. I have it in my family. I have a bit of it myself. What I will offer is finding a system that works for you and your brain. I will recommend the very first thing, fall in love with that destination, but then also, if you have coping skills that you already have that allow you to do certain things in your life with your ADHD brain. This is going to be really, really general because I don't know your specific situation, but I do know in coaching ADHD clients that oftentimes they will beat themselves up. They do not get the same dopamine reward from just accomplishing a goal. So you need to incorporate some things to give yourself that little kind of chemical hit that reminds you of the goodness of why you're doing that. I would recommend this. One of the good things is to chunk things down from the overwhelm into setting your timer for 10 or 20 minutes. When the timer goes off, you have decluttered. Give yourself that high five. This is like the second time I've referenced Tina Fey. That's funny. I love her. Anyhow, high five yourself. Give yourself that dopamine rush. Do that. Also, get some help. Seriously. People in your life that are not judgy, that don't have ADHD, ask them, they probably are seeing the manifestations of your clutter. And if you allow help into your world, it shows up. That's why I have showed up for whatever miraculous universal reason on your TikToks for everybody. I'm only going to be here for a little 2 minutes because I got to walk somewhere. But I just want to get some help. I can help as a one-on-one coach if you're interested in that. There are other helps out there you can get. But just know that the best thing you can do is honor how awesome your brain is, and don't judge yourself. Don't try to set yourself up to do something that's going to work for neurotypical people. Find a system that works specifically for you and how your brain works. I have done that myself, and it has allowed my brain to blossom and do things that only my brain can do. Okay, so honor that awesome brain of yours. Everybody's house, everybody's life, everybody's brain is a little bit different. Find a system that works for you to get you to where you want your life to look and feel. Okay, I love this. Other people are giving advice. This is wonderful. I appreciate that I'm inspiring you. That's why I showed up. I realized I'm also getting like a cramp. So I'm going to sign off now. So if I didn't do this, okay. Okay, and somebody did say, before I do this, I missed the thread where people are chatting with themselves. That's fine. Help one another. But somebody says, it doesn't work. I've tried it. You need to make the decisions. I don't know what the thing was above it. But yes, decluttering is all about decision making. But what I want to offer is, every time you make a decision, you can make a decision that reminds you of the person you are and the person you want to be. So every time you say yes to something, it should add to the joy and the life you want to have. And anytime you say no to something, you are reminding yourself of what you don't want in your life. So it's a really good thing to decision making. Getting good at decision making that aligns with what you want your life to look and feel like is a good muscle to build. And decluttering is an easy way to do that. And you get that kind of physical, you get that reward from doing that by looking around when your house is decluttered and you're only surrounded by the stuff you love and the stuff that works for you. And then you feel like that's an outward manifestation of you saying, this is what's important to me. Okay. Anne-Marie, real quick, and everybody, because I got to sign off because I got someplace to walk to. I have my morning walks. I love doing them. Go for a morning walk. They're awesome. There is a post pinned on my TikTok page here. Please like my TikTok page. Little commercial thing. Please like my TikTok page. Sign up for my mailing list, follow me on all the socials, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that. Share the word with people who are decluttered. But there's a post pinned that is telling tomorrow and Friday what the times I'm going to show up. Tomorrow I'm going to actually do it a little bit later because I realize there are people on the West Coast who may not even know who I am since I'm East Coast and I'm getting up early. So there's a couple of days that I'm doing that. Also next week I will show up for a couple of days and I'll let you know whether I go. But there are going to be days next week that I will be off the grid, as I like to say. What I want to offer is the questions that I'm answering on these there are many recurring themes every week. Every day that I do these. So you can listen to these when I upload them to YouTube. Next week when I'm not online, you could wake up, you could listen to one of these on YouTube. You don't need to look at me. All I do is, move my hands and try to read comments. Is you can listen to me on YouTube, put your phone down, and then use that as motivation while you're decluttering, okay? I appreciate all of the well wishes. I love that Jersey Sandy said she feels lighter already and you didn't even start. That's what we're going for. Is feeling lighter and more free in your life, feeling good about it. When you feel better, you do better. And oftentimes what's making you feel heavy are the things that you're carrying around with you that you don't need anymore. It's like dragging around a heavy suitcase it's like a suitcase full of bowling balls at the airport. Who wants to be that person? You want to be that superstar who's walking on, who's like, got one bag slung over her shoulder and living in first class, right? I'm signing off now. Please, as I said, if you had a question that I didn't answer, send me a message through TikTok and I will do a video, or I will refer you to a video that I've done that can address that. Also, please follow my page. My name is Beth. I'm the Decluttering Life Coach at Destination Decluttered, because it's all about if you are where you are and you want to get somewhere else, we get you to that destination with coaching, okay? Like GGX 2000, how to deal with a collection of figurines from childhood worth money. Pop that into a message to me and I will do a video about that, okay? But here's what I want to offer. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. If you know other people in your world who are cluttered and you think would be helped by my messages and they're not on TikTok, I post my videos, not these ones, but I post these videos on YouTube, and I post my shorter form videos on Instagram, on Facebook. So I try to be where people can get me. Spread the word to the people that you think could benefit from what I do, kind of like that Fabergé organic shampoo commercial from back in the day, because everybody, when everybody starts to feel better, they're going to do better, and the world will be better. Okay. Tomorrow, check the pinned post on my page. I'm pretty sure I'm going to show up at 10 a.m. Eastern, but double check, and I'm going to double check too because I don't even know what Friday looks like. Okay. All right, there's a lot of stuff here. Know that there's help. Everybody whose questions I can't answer, know that there's help out there, and you've got this, and things can change. And I'm going to go on my morning walk, and you should go do something good for yourself today, too. You already started it by saying that you want to get decluttered, and now you know some steps to get that way, okay? I will see you later.